Morning, it's Jeff, Godless Scammer, back again. Been a little while since I've just sat down and recorded a video because I've done a lot more live streaming recently. So it's been a while since I've done this. Might not turn out too good. I haven't sat down, scripted anything. And to be honest, I feel this may end up being a bit of a rant at some point. That's how I feel it may end up going. Now, I'll start off on a more positive note that this should be uploaded by May the 2nd, which is when I'm recording this. But it is the 1st of May 2017 when I started on YouTube. So I've officially been on YouTube for 3 years now. So this video is kind of marking that in a little bit of a way. I definitely know that if I was to go back and watch some of those early videos, I want to crawl into a fetal position because some of them were very, very bad. But my very first video was, in fact, a thing I ever uploaded onto YouTube. Was a thing where I happened to be at a May Day parade for a local trades union council. And some of you may or may not know that when I started on YouTube, I had a bit of a different handle. Wasn't Godless Scammer then. It was Mr. Metal Lover 666, and I wasn't an atheist then. When I started on YouTube, I was still a pagan. So that's kind of where I was when I started, which is going to kind of lead me into this. Into what I'm going to rant about in a little bit. But before I do that, I will say to anyone who was marking yesterday, who is pagan and who may or may not celebrate Beltane, that blessed Beltane to you for yesterday. Now, I know not every person who identifies as pagan celebrates that particular thing. Paganism is a very, very broad brush that I do not have much the time to really get into and do it justice, but I have many friends. Some of you may know that I've been done a couple of streams with Hissy from Hissy's Hideaway. She's a pagan, albeit I think more towards the Roman pantheon. I don't know whether she celebrates Beltane because, quite frankly, I hadn't asked her. But certainly, blessed Beltane to all pagan friends that I know for yesterday, and I know it probably sucked not being able to get out and celebrate it properly. However, well, there you go. So there was a bit more of a, I guess, more kind-hearted way of wishing the pagan community a blessed Beltane. Which leads me on to how you don't go about doing it. And if I'm going to have a rant about something and get a little bit pissed, then it may as well be at one of my favourite subjects in the world to get pissed at, the Sun newspaper. Now, I don't expect, by now, I do not expect anything resembling high standards of journalism from the Sun newspaper. I know better than that by now. I have a long record of being an awful rag. They represent, to me, everything that is wrong about Murdoch Press. Yes, not a fan. But this is what they had to say about Beltane. Now, I suppose maybe a little bit of a trigger warning if you are a pagan, or if you have friends who are pagans, or if you just don't particularly like religions being mocked. Now, obviously, as I'm an atheist, I do talk a bit about religion and that on my channel. I know there's a bit of a time where we might have a bit of fun with beliefs. I might have a bit of fun with people like flat earthers, for example, or got like young Earth creationists. But there's kind of there is a fine line with this, and sometimes that line maybe those line can be difficult to negotiate because it's different for different people. But this is going over the fucking line for just about anyone. Okay. And I quote, this is a little ping the Sun newspaper said called Trouble Brewing. Spare a thought for Britain's vibrant community of pagans and witches. Tonight is the eve of Beltane, an important festival for many assorted oddballs. Normally, they would be stripped off and shagging goats around a blazing fire or something. But social distancing means it's going to be a very hands-off affair. Even witches get the flu. That's all it was. That's all they wrote. Now, I don't know what the fuck they think pagans do on Beltane, okay? Now, I do know there are some who might do it like a sky-clad thing. I would say, in my experience, that is a minority. Shagging animals, though, is something that is not done by just about anyone in that community, and it is fucking insulting to imply that they do. They could do just the slightest bit of research before printing something like that. However, I don't even think this was supposed to be, it's not even supposed to be a piece of journalism. That was just meant to be insulting to effectively a religious minority. And I think it is completely and utterly out of order. Now, maybe because paganism is a very broad brush, it encompasses a lot of various different religious ideas within it, with polytheism or nature worship, or there could be Wicca, heathenry, druidry, all sorts of different things kind of fall under that umbrella. And I haven't got time to really dive into it. It was a bit more. I do actually want to do a live stream where I can get some various polytheists and some different ideas on at some point. I'm looking to do that. However, I actually kind of feel that the Sun newspaper kind of should be held accountable for that, because had that been printed about Christians in the UK, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists, whatever, any mainstream religion, I think there would be a fucking outcry about this. Someone's head would fucking roll. But it appears it's okay to say something that is quite frankly just bigoted against pagans. And it blatantly so. I mean, even by the Sun's standards, that was fucking blatant. And I said, the Sun, and I should actually say Sun standards is something of an oxymoron. But, sorry, trying to stay under control. As you said, I haven't scripted this. This is just off the cuff. So I do remember one of my early videos, I had a bit of a rant at the Sun newspaper, and I find it kind of ironic that here we are 3 years later, and I'm doing the same fucking thing. But the Sun newspaper needs to make a grovelling fucking apology to Britain's pagans for that particular little thing they printed. It needs to be, and I don't normally like to do flagging campaigns, but I personally did make a complaint to the Independent Press Standards Organisation about this, and it's up to other people whether they do or not. But I did that, and because I feel what they printed was completely and utterly out of order. So that marks 3 years on YouTube for me. So, and I will give out belated May Day wishes once again. Blessed Beltane to a lot of the pagan community and those who celebrate it. Happy International Workers' Day yesterday. Fraternal greetings to a lot of colleagues who are in trade unions and so on. And here is my May Day greeting to the Sun newspaper. Okay? Happy fucking May Day. Rupert Murdoch and the Sun newspaper. Got it? Clear? Good. This has been Jeff, Godless Scammer. I shall see you all later. Salute.